Alright, we are back. Welcome to episode 48. We are, of course, still here in Saffron City. Going to hop on my bike, and not really sure where I'm supposed to go from here. Why don't we check out... Why don't we head to Lavender Town first? Eeny, meeny, miny, mo, right? Have you been to Lavender Town? There's a tall radio tower there. Alright, I look forward to seeing it. That's right, the radio tower is where Pokemon Tower used to be. Here's an underground here. The notice is torn. Not sure what it used to say. Oh, it won't open. It's locked. Huh. And we're not even sure why it's locked. So you can jump down here to avoid those bikers, but we're not going to do that. Bikers tend to use a lot of poison types, though. And poison resists fighting. So let's actually bring out Crude again, since ground is super effective against poison types. Now they might have some fighting types as well, but we'll see how this goes. We're the Kanto Pokemon Federation Trainer Group. We'll drive you under our wheels. Oh, a biker gang. Fun stuff. Biker Dwayne. They used to be Cue Balls Generation 1. Generation 1 had some interesting trainer classes too. Oh, okay. Coughing has Levitate, which makes it immune to ground attacks. Forgot about that. So, I guess it's still a pretty good matchup, because we will resist all of its attacks. Coughing can poison us, though, so that would not be ideal. Oh, flinch. Ah, there we go. Very nice. I think a crunch should be enough to finish it off. I would like to get some XP for a Rod, but I'm sure he'll have his chance to shine. It's funny that Kroot really wasn't used, I don't think at all in the Pokemon League, but I think he's really going to shine now that we're here in Kanto, because there are really only two gym types that he's weak against, and that's grass and water. And I guess ground, but the ground type gym isn't really a ground type gym anymore. And I guess rock, Tyranitar is technically even against. He will have Earthquake, and if he's still a Kroot by the time if he's still he'll always be Kroot obviously. If he's still a Pupitar by the time we get there, he will get stabbed from Earthquake, but if he's evolved into Tyranitar by then, which I expect, or at least he'll be really close, then Tyranitar being Rock and Dark type, it gives up its ground type for Dark type instead. Does not get stabbed from Earthquake. It's a great coverage move to teach your Tyranitar, but it'll get stabbed from a Rock type attack and Crunch instead. Getting a little lucky with those flinches. I think it's a 20% chance, might be 30. Some moves are 20, some moves are 30. I can never keep straight which ones are which. Air Slash is 30, that I know. Or in our case, 60. Alright, a couple coughing, pretty annoying. Hopefully the rest of these guys don't just have a bunch of coughing. Because, as I've mentioned before, we actually don't have any psychic attacks in our team. And Poison is only weak to Psychic and Ground, and Wheezing is only weak to Psychic, so the best we can do is neutral damage. Luckily, Wheezing isn't that strong of a Pokemon, so I'm not too worried about the coverage. Alright, one member of the Kanto Trainer Federation, whatever, down. A few more to go. Since Kroot might not be super effective like I was hoping, let's bring out Cian. Cian also could use some XP. The cops shut down our underground path. That really annoys me. Oh, I guess the bikers were using it as a hideout. Maybe that's why they shut it down. Flareon, okay, so ironically I could have kept out Kroot and that would have been a really good matchup. Still an okay matchup. We should resist Flareon's stab attacks. Quick attack won't do too much to us. It's a pretty weak attack for this stage in the game. Thunderbolt, however, is a very strong attack, coming off of a very strong Pokemon with a very good special attack stat. Critical hits always help as well. So Flareon is a level higher, which means good XP, but really isn't much of a threat. Flareon is a really cool Pokemon design-wise, in my opinion, but its move pool is just really bad. You can only learn like one good attack, which I guess is Flare Blitz. At least I hope it can learn Flare Blitz. I mean, you can probably learn like Shadow Ball, but it's not really a special attacker. Dig, I guess it could learn, but Dig is just outclassed by Earthquake, so... I mean, you can make it work and you can have fun with a Flareon if you really like Flareon, but it's just not a Pokemon that I really want to train because I always like Pokemon that have a good variety in their move choices. by Kurzeki, or Zeke. And once again, we're back to coughing. Not sure if I should use Sunny Day or not. Let's see how much Flamethrower does. I feel like it's going to do enough that it won't quite knock it out, but it would have with a Sunny Day boost. But because he doesn't have any water types, or I'll get a crit. There's not really a second reason to use Sunny Day, so I try not to use Sunny Day or Rain Dance unless I get like 2 benefits out of it, or like a really long-term benefit. Like Rain Dance obviously speeds up Kingdra as well, and Sunny Day would pretty much negate Cian's weakness to water attacks. And it allows it to use Solar Beam, so it'd be nice in that case. But just to power a Flamethrower, I'd only use it if it really would make a difference against a number of Pokemon. Alright, we have received TM41, Torment. Torment, what does Torment do? It can't use the same move twice in a row, I think? Not really a move that's super useful. Again, I'm sure you could find some scenario that has a use, but we're not going to really bother with it. One move that really perplexes me is Imprison. If somebody can give me a good example of when you want to teach a Pokemon like competitively Imprison, please do, or even in like a game. Like maybe if you're really trying to tailor a team to fight like one certain Pokemon on one person's team, like if Lance's best Dragonite is giving you an issue, and maybe you have a Pokemon that somehow knows Outrage and Imprison, you could teach it. You could use Imprison on Dragonite, and then it couldn't use Outrage against you. Or I guess once your Pokemon faints, though, it can use Outrage again. Imprison is a move, by the way, that doesn't let your opponent use any moves that your Pokemon also knows. So, or maybe I guess you use Imprison on them and then switch to a Pokemon that has Outrage, and they can't outrage your Dragon, but your Dragon can outrage them. Maybe that would answer my question. That's kind of a very specific use, but I really don't know why that move is in the game. I feel like you really have to bend over backwards to find a use for it. There are a few moves like that, and a few abilities too, where I feel like they put them in the game thinking like, hey, maybe somebody really clever will figure out a really cool strategy with this move. But sometimes it happens, and you'll have like Fear with Endeavor, which I talked about a very long time ago. Other times you'll get a move like Imprison and just think, why, Game Freak, why? I'll have to think and see if there are any other really cool strategies that people came up with using rare moves and abilities. I'm sure there are a few. I know I mentioned like Skill Swap and the ability Truant that Slacking has. I'm not sure that's really that big of a deal. That was probably kind of on their mind when they put that in the game. Right, Muckus raises its defense, but Flamethrower is a special attack, so that will not stop us. I'm sure there are better examples than that. Psych Up, that's probably a good example. When Psych Up was added to the game, it's a move that copies your opponent's stat changes. So it wasn't super useful in like a playthrough, because your opponent very rarely uses moves that enhance their stats. And if they do, say they use Sword Stance and your Alakazam knows Psych Up, what does it matter if your Alakazam has higher attack? That doesn't help you at all. Alright, Cian and Cherry should be a good double team here. Do I look weak? Don't make me laugh. When I'm with Lulu, I've got 100 times more courage. Mo and I make a great pair. You should prepare yourself. Alright, let's see how great of a pair you guys make in a Pokemon battle. Lotad and Seedit. Not a strong team. You guys might want to consider evolving at level 43. I know you're probably going for some good moves, but I think it's time. Alright, so I'm going to go with a Fire attack on Seedit, which is, I think, pure Grass type. It might be Grass and Dark, but I think it's just Grass until it evolves. And Petal Dance against Lotad. Oh, right. Let's use Return then. Lotad is a Water and Grass type. Another reason I prefer Seed Bomb over Petal Dance is for double battles like this. I don't think there are any... Well, actually, there is one tougher double battle. I think I mentioned it before. You get to face Claire and Lance at the same time, so that's probably the toughest double battle in the game. We'll have to remember to do that a little later on, too. Not sure if you can do that before you defeat Lance the second time, or not. Alright, they don't seem very happy to have lost. We could give one of our Pokemon the Amulet Coin again, but I'm just not too concerned with money right now. So Psych Up was a move that it probably did have some uses in Generation 1 competitive battling, like if Mewtwo is allowed and you have, and Mewtwo uses Amnesia to boost its stats, and you say have a Slowbro or another Mewtwo with Psych Up, you could switch in, copy all their stat changes. The other Mewtwo would still have a leg up because it already has the stat changes, but maybe you bring in a Slowbro who could copy Mewtwo's stat changes and then strike back. So it might have had a use then, but what they didn't probably expect is for it to be useful in competitive double battles, because obviously there weren't double battles when Psych Up was introduced, and I'm pretty sure Psych Up was Gen 1 move. I hope I'm not misremembering that. It could have been Gen 2, but I hope it was Gen 1. It could have been Gen 3 even, because it's one of those moves that I never really used, so I'm not really sure when it was added. But it'd be really cool if it was added in Gen 1, because now it's a move that you can use to copy your ally stat boost. So it actually has seen a lot of use in strategic double battles, where you'll have one Pokemon power up, or your opponent might power up, and you just then copy the stat changes of the powered Pokemon with another Pokemon. I know there was a popular team with, or a very effective team with Lunala and Xerneas in one of the recent international championships, where Xerneas would use Geomancy, get tons of stat boosts, and then Lunala would Psych Up to copy them, and you'd have two Pokemon with tons of stat boosts on your side of the field. Or if your opponent's Xerneas is powered up first, then you just copied their stats and had a good counter to it. So pretty effective strategy. I'm sure there are other examples as well that I will think of as soon as I'm done recording this video. I am but a gentleman, stopped on the road. Would you care to join me in a quick contest? Oh, a contest of Pokemon? I would be quite happy to, good sir. Let's see. They usually have fire types, like Growlithe. Yep, pretty much Growlithe. Maybe an Arcanine. Growlithe will intimidate Magmar, or Magmartar, but it doesn't matter because we know special attacks. So, speaking of things that I forgot to mention in previous episodes, leftovers. As you guys might have been thinking, leftovers in this generation you only get from, well, not only, but you mainly get from stealing them from a sleeping Snorlax, either by capturing it or using the move Thief against it. Which does, once I read that, I was like, oh yeah, that makes sense. I do remember doing that back in the day. Full Restore, that was interesting. But I think it's Generation 3 where there was a ship that had leftovers in the trash can, which is surprising because I could have sworn it was Generation 1 or 2. Like, my memory is telling me it was that long ago, but obviously Generation 1 didn't have Hell items, so it couldn't be Gen 1. So I would have thought it was Gen 2, but apparently I'm just wrong. Not the first time, probably won't be the last. Alright, we don't have cuts, so we can't go into that little field over there, but I don't think there's anything good there. In the original games, that was where you caught Houndour, I'm pretty sure. Or maybe it was the one to the west of Saffron. Might have been both? I don't know. I think it was only during the nighttime, which it is right now. But I don't have cut, so we may never know. Alright, welcome to Lavender Town. Pokemart, Pokemon Center. You guys get the deal by this point. I do want to check out the radio tower while we're here. And maybe Mr. Fuji's house as well. In fact, let's start there. And I'm not sure if I mentioned this in my Pokemon Red Let's Play. I probably did. I really hope I did. Just in case you didn't see it or haven't seen it yet. One theory in Pokemon that's really cool. It's not even really a theory. I think it's pretty much confirmed. Oh, is Mr. Fuji, did he pass away? I forget. Can you believe it? Some people get bored with taking care of Pokemon. Grandpa takes in such poor homeless Pokemon and takes care of them. Oh, I guess Grandpa's Mr. Fuji. Mr. Fuji lives here, but he's away now. He should be at the House of Memories. Oh, is that also in town? I'll have to go there and say hi. Glad he's still around. Maybe that's that tent down there? It's kind of a happy-looking tent for a House of Memories, but I guess you remember your happy time spent with your Pokemon? It's a sad thought, though, your Pokemon dying on you. I'm pretty sure I did talk about that in the last Let's Play. This guy mentions we need a Pokeflute to wake up Snorlax. That's what we used in the first game. Will we find a Pokeflute here? Maybe. Oh, radio shows. That's interesting, too. Oh, what's up with Boba? Hi Joe, Warden Boba. New objects. You can meet different Pokemon, do your best. Okay. Might do that, probably won't. So there are a lot of cool theories with Pokemon. Some of them are more plausible than others. Like there's one that Gengar is the ghost of the fairies, and there's just all kinds of interesting things. Like the one about Professor Oak being a former champion, kind of makes sense, given that he knows Agatha pretty well, and he has that team programmed in, and he seems to know a lot about Pokemon. You could definitely see him being a champion. And he's allowed into the Hall of Fame. A lot of clues to that. Mr. Fuji is apparently the same guy as the scientist in Pokemon Mansion. I think it's actually that's not a theory. I think it was a theory for a number of years, and they confirmed it in one of the like newer anime like mini show things. What do you call those things? Miniseries. Miniseries? Yeah, when it's like a short series of shows. Anyway, oh, a name raider. Okay. Nope. I like my nicknames. We're gonna keep them. So this is clearly not the House of Memories. I wonder if the House of Memories is part of oh, it's probably this thing. Yep, House of Memories. Looks kind of like a mosque, I guess, with like the dome on top. I guess it makes sense. It's sort of a religious building, or at least the closest you'll get to here in the Kanto region of Pokemon. Yeah, this is a more solemn place. There's Mr. Fuji. Welcome. You appear to be raising your Pokemon in a kind and loving manner. Those who love Pokemon come here to pay their respects to Pokemon. Please pay homage to the spirits of Pokemon. I'm sure that will make them happy. Alright, we will do that. But the cool theory is that you can kind of piece together that Mr. Fuji became this nice old man because he felt guilty about creating Mewtwo. And I think they actually credit him as Mr. Fuji, or as somebody, Satoshi Fuji or something like that, in the first Pokemon movie. You know, the guy with the little like goatee and the crazy hair that we dreamed of creating the world's most powerful Pokemon, and we succeeded. And then Mewtwo blows him up. That movie is like ingrained in my head from my childhood. But oh, she loved them like they were her grandchildren. That's so sweet. You know what I wouldn't mind? Hopefully, like Detective Pikachu ends up being like a really popular movie, and they make more. I wouldn't mind like a live-action series where like based on Pokemon. That'd be so cool if like it really takes off and becomes a big thing. Plus, if it does, it'll incentivize more people to watch my Let's Plays. But it would also just be really cool to watch like Pokemon TV shows. But I think it'd be cool to have a series where there's just like a sitcom, but there's Pokemon in it. Like how awesome would that be to have like, instead of Everybody Loves Raymond, to be like Everybody Loves Magmortar? Like how cool would that be? Anyway, maybe one day. Alright, let's check out the radio tower and then we will move on, because it doesn't seem like there's too much to do in Lavender Town. There's no gym here in either generation. Alright, so it used to be the Pokemon Tower. I guess did they relocate all the graves to that one little House of Memories? Seems a little small. So we can look around anywhere on this floor, but that implies we can't look up the next floor. Oh, so if we can't find a Pokeflute, there is a Pokeflute broadcast available in the Kanto region. So this is obviously their radio tower, just like the one in Goldenrod spreads signals to all of Johto. Kind of a weird location for it. You think they'd put it like in Saffron or Celadon, which are more centrally located, just like Goldenrod is kind of centrally located. But I guess they were able to get the building for a nice cheap deal. Stay still, mister. Oh, no, no, no. We've been off the air ever since the power plant shut down. All my efforts to start this station will be wasted if I can't broadcast. I'll be ruined. See the same guys before? They just have the same sprite. Probably just the same sprite. I know like the Goldenrod and the Celadon department stores are apparently different branches of the same store, so same company that runs them. Not sure if the radio towers are the same way or if they're just two independently owned radio towers. Hey there, I'm the Super Music Director. Your Pokegear can't tune into my music shows? How unfortunate. If you upgraded with the EXPN card, not to be confused with the ESPN card, I guess it's Experience Pokemon? I don't know. You can tune in. You better get one. Well, where do I get one? So I think maybe once you get the tower up and running, minor spoiler, I think he gives you the card as like a reward, and then once it's running, you can use the Pokeflute station to wake up Snorlax. Oh, I see. So their security has stepped up because of the takeover in Johto. That makes sense. That's kind of cool how they reference things that go on earlier in the game, even a region away. Alright, should we go to Rock Tunnel? Do we need Flash for Rock Tunnel? Probably. Let's head south here. I'm not sure how far we can go before encountering that Snorlax. Maybe down to Fuchsia, because the Snorlax was over by Diglett Tunnel. Alright, this is going to be a fisherman, but We do have Thunderbolts, so let's see how this goes. Only thing he said was, do you remember? Facing you 2 years ago? Sorry, no I don't. I could use a bunch of Thunderbolts, that'd be pretty easy. But because he has a few Pokemon, let's go ahead and use Sunny Day. I haven't had a chance to use too many Solar Beams, so this'll, yep, there we go. I guess Thunderbolt might have one-shot Goldeen, and might have one-shot all of his Pokemon, in which case we would take no damage, but even so. The Sunlight causes water-type attacks to take half as much damage, and the super effective is double damage, so it pretty much cancels out. And Waterfall will essentially deal neutral damage to Cian as long as Sunny Day is active. Weather-type effects are active for 5 turns most of the time. There are certain hell items you can use to make them 8 turns, and I think in the earlier generations, if you had a Pokemon with an ability that summoned weather, like Tyranitar and Sandstream, which summons Sandstorm, I think it would last the rest of the battle, or until a different weather move is used. Alright, there's our Solar Beam. Pretty cool animation. And I'm going to bet he has a third Goldeen. That or a Seeking. What do you guys think? Quillfish, okay. I was wrong. You were wrong too, unless you said Quillfish, in which case either that was a very good guess, or you have played this game recently. Or you like my video so much, you watched it twice and got it right the second time. In which case, thank you. Alright, Quillfish has been defeated. And so has Fisherman Kyle. So I don't forget how great... I'm not going to exchange his phone number, because I don't know why, I just don't feel like it. Fishing spot. It's called the Silence Bridge because everyone walks on tiptoe to avoid scaring the water Pokemon. Oh, okay. I knew it was called Silence Bridge, or I had known that at one point, but I kind of never really thought about why. Maybe I read that sign before and also knew why, and just forgot about that too. Alright, so this guy appears to be a bird keeper. That'll be a pretty good way to train up Cian, because Thunderbolt is obviously super effective against bird types, or flying types. I think in Generation 1 they did call them bird type in some of the text. And there's actually some evidence that bird type was meant to be the original name, and that at some point in development it was changed to flying type. Because I think Missingo, the glitch Pokemon, and a few others can actually be part bird type, not flying, bird type. And then also the references in the text, which could just be like a colloquial thing where everybody says bird type even though they mean flying type. Not sure there are any other good examples. You don't really say like plane type Pokemon or ocean type Pokemon. You might say ocean Pokemon for Pokemon that live in the ocean, but not really to mean water types in general. But you do hear bird Pokemon for flying types on occasion. Flamethrower should finish it off. Where was I going with that? So yes, that seems like at some point they were called bird Pokemon and then they were changed, and they just kind of left it in there, somewhere buried in the code. Alright, another fisherman, let's go for it. Patience is the key to both fishing and Pokemon. It is, though, although in a lot of competitive battles there are time limits, so you should be patient, but you can't just think forever. Obviously that would annoy your opponent. Alright, Cian is racking up some XP pretty quickly. I wonder if the Magmar line might have a pretty decent experience gain, or experience yield gain, whatever it's called. Experience gain rate, I guess would be the proper term. Leveling rate? I don't know what the game calls it, but you guys know what I mean. I would think that it would actually be pretty high, like maybe medium slow, because Magmar is a pretty powerful Pokemon. Usually the stronger the Pokemon is, the harder it is to train. With the exception of the starters. I think all the starters are either like medium or medium fast, because they want to make those easy to train to make sure the game's not too difficult. And I guess it caters to like those trainers who are just really boring or really young and like just using like one starter the entire way through. The only way you can really do that is if you overlevel them, which kind of takes a lot of the fun out of the game. Part of the fun to me has always been using a diverse team of fun Pokemon. But, you know, to each their own. Alright, another double battle. Let's send out Olive and Cherry. That way Cherry can use Earthquake, and Olive can flinch my opponents. That could be a good combo. Alright, I'll be able to show off for Terra. I love to look at my boyfriend's face and profile while he's battling. So it sounds like they're going to be a little distracted and probably not too hard to beat. Hopefully they'll pose a little more of a challenge than the last young couple, though. Magmar and Sunflora. Sunflora is not a strong Pokemon, unfortunately. It's a Generation 2 Pokemon, Grass type. Yeah, it's just kind of an iconic Gen 2 Pokemon, I guess, in a way. But its stats are just really low. Like, I feel like Wartortle or Pidgeotto probably have better stats, or maybe about the same as Pidgeotto. But Sunkern is actually one of the weakest Pokemon in the whole game, stat-wise. I think maybe like it might be like on like Magikarp level, like Magikarp and Phoebus level. I think that new water type Pokemon, I think it's called Wishy Washy, something like that, is weaker in its solo form, but only by a little bit. And at least it's pretty powerful in its swarming form, whereas Sunkern is just really weak in general. Wow, that did a lot of damage. Magmar is a strong Pokemon. Let's actually just use like Shadow Ball. Don't want to take the chance of missing. Not that it would really make a difference, but just in case. Alright. Cherry is leveled up and wants to learn Body Slam. Okay, cool. So, we are going to make it forget a move. So I was always planning to teach Cherry Body Slam instead of Return. And I think I'm still going to. I'd feel a lot more confident about it if I could teach it Return again in the future. But I think you only get the TM once. Like, it was a TM we got, right? Not a move tutor thing. It was from that lady in the department store. I'm pretty sure it was a TM. Now, I'm sure I have Return on some other versions. I could probably trade it over. But the real reason I want Body Slam, so Body Slam does 17 less damage, or base power. Return is base power 102, Body Slam is 85. But it says dash, but if you're maxed friendship, it's 102. But Body Slam has a 30% chance of paralyzing your opponent, and for a slow Pokemon like Cherry, that can be a huge advantage. Body Slam has always been one of my favorite attacks, and probably my favorite, normal type attack for that reason. So we'll go ahead and teach it Body Slam. And, alright, since Olive's out, we'll use her for a little bit. Actually, you know what? I did mean to use Rod, didn't I? All of our other Pokemon are at least 4 levels higher. Let's give Rod a chance to shine. I was going to surf to that guy thinking he was on a little island by himself, but he's not. Hopefully this guy has no Quillfish or Pelipper or Gyarados, because they will resist my fighting type attacks. Really hope no Gyarados, because Gyarados also has Intimidate. But I guess I do have Rock Tomb. Alright, Quagsire, I can deal with Quagsire. Quagsire is actually fairly bulky. It's not the strongest Pokemon, it's kind of like the poor man's Swampert. But I've always liked Quagsire. I wish it was stronger. So I was really excited when Swampert was added, because like, oh, I got my wish. They kind of made a stronger Quagsire. Quagsire is nice because I think it can have the ability Water Absorb, which means it's healed when you attack it with a Water type move, so it could be useful in like certain situations, I guess. Whereas like Swampert is neutral, Quagsire can resist it, or takes no damage from water attacks. I think it. I want to say it can learn like Storm Drain maybe, which is kind of like a similar thing, but if you're in a double battle and your side of the field is attacked by a water type attack, it automatically is diverted into the Pokemon with the ability. I'm not going to use Reversal. Not even really sure what Reversal does. I think it does like more damage if your opponent goes first, something like that. Tentacruel is not ideal. Being Poison type, it will resist post-combat. Oh, this will be tough. Let's go with Shadow Claw, I guess. Even if we had Mega Horn, a Bug-type move, which we don't. Yeah, that had to be a crit. I'm actually surprised it was a one-shot with a crit. Poison also resists Bug-type. So Poison types are really good counters to Heracross because it resists both the stab attacks. And look who it is. Now you can teach Heracross Earthquake, which is a really good way to counter Poison types, but there's only one Earthquake TM in the game unless you do a lot of grinding at the Battle Frontier. So I think we'll be teaching ours probably Stone Edge instead. We could do both, too. If I really enjoyed the Battle Frontier and feel like grinding, maybe I will teach him Earthquake over Air Slash, since Air Slash is a pretty low base power move, but it does have its uses. Not Air Slash, Shadow Claw. Because like against a Gengar, Shadow Claw would be definitely the best move to use. Although Earthquake, actually Earthquake wouldn't be very good, because in this generation, Gengar has Levitate, so there definitely are a few small situations where it would be useful to keep Shadow Claw. This, I believe, is the Fishing Guru's house. I'm going to keep going because I can always heal off screen, so you guys don't have to watch me spam berries all day. Alright, time to get a Super Rod. You seem to like fishing, am I right or am I right? Yes, you are right. Yes, yes, just as I thought. Fishing fan, here's the Super Rod. Sweet. Now we can catch level 40 Pokemon off the end of the pier. Some pretty powerful ones too, like Seadra, Gyarados, maybe even like Dragonair in some spots. So if I do end up training my Pokemon, that can be a pretty effective way to do so. That guy's probably a bird catcher, so sorry Rod, switching out. Let's do one more battle and then I will end the episode. And it's about, ooh, what did that guy say? Is he having a stroke there? Yeah, bird keeper. So it's 1:15. I should sleep, but that has never stopped me before. I did take a nap when I got home from work, so hopefully that'll make me a little less tired tomorrow morning. Alright, super effective, very nicely done. Yeah, so we'll be facing a poison type gym, which Tyranitar and Pupitar resist, and ground is super effective against, except Weezing. Psychic, which Dark is going to be very effective countering. Now they might have like Focus Blast. I would not be surprised at all if Sabrina's Alakazam has it. In fact, I'd be pretty surprised if she didn't teach it Focus Blast. So we will have to watch out for that. She could very easily one-shot our Tyranitar with Focus Blast. But she could probably one-shot or close to it Pupitar as well. So we'll have to watch out for that. And there's no reason to hold off evolving. Who else do we have? Grass, don't want to use them against, or water, or electric we already fought. Rock and fire, yeah, I wouldn't mind using Tyranitar against those. Let me just go a little bit further while I talk. Water type, sure, let's go for it. Maybe he'll have poison types again. I don't know what the most important thing in our everyday lives is. Friendship, love, family? Or Gyarados with no Intimidate? So Tyranitar does not resist rock types. A common misconception is that rock is not very effective against rock type Pokemon. And it's easy to see where that came from because in Generation 1, almost all rock types were also part ground type. And ground type does resist rock type. Oh, a flinch, that was very useful. It was pretty lucky too. 20 or 30% chance. So, oh, and a crit that we didn't need. So, for example, when you use a rock move against a Golem, or an Onix, or a Rhydon, it would be not very effective. Our attack is really low now. But I think we can still do a decent amount of damage with a Rock Slide. And maybe we'll get lucky and get another flinch, that'd be awesome. So a lot of people always thought that rock is not good against rock. Oh, we did, sweet. After 2 Intimidate, so I'm not sure Crunch will defeat us, even though Rock Slide has a 10% chance of missing. I think I should probably go for it. Oh, we're getting really lucky. This is good. I should buy some lottery tickets tonight. Except it's 1:18 a.m., so I'm not going to do that. And I'm not really a lottery ticket guy in general. On average, it will always be a loss. 3 Gyarados. This is like the strongest fisherman we faced yet. We should have had Magmortar at the front. This would have been an easy sweep. Although I guess it's still pretty easy anyway. So yeah, really the only Pokemon who's rock type you can face in the first game. Except, wow, another flinch! This is like the perfect battle. Good job, Groot. Oh, of course, as soon as I say that. Ice Fang's not too bad, though. Waterfall probably would have been a one-shot, but Ice Fang I think I can survive. Gyarados does not get stabbed, it's only singly super effective, not doubly super effective. And, low base power. So, for example, if you use a rock-type attack against Lance's Aerodactyl, it will be super effective, because Aerodactyl is rock and flying. Rock is neutral against rock, and rock is good against flying. But that's really the only way you would have figured it out in Generation 1, or if you like looked it up. Alright, the only other Pokemon that are Rock type in Gen 1 are the other fossil Pokemon, Omanite, Omastar, Kabuto, and Kabutops, and of course, you can't face them anywhere in Generation 1. You can face them in this generation. I think Brock has them when we face him, and also I think in his rematch in Fire Red and Leaf Green. It's cool how the Pokemon they have in their rematches in Fire Red and Leaf Green I think are pretty similar to the teams they have in this generation 3 years later, which again makes sense. Same trainers, same continuity. So I like that the devs kind of paid homage to the different games in that respect. But alright, let's go ahead and end this episode here. When we come back, we will continue to head south to Fuchsia City and maybe even challenge the gym. We'll see how quickly we can get down there. But either way, it should be a lot of fun. Hope to see you all then.